The other day I was streaming and someone asked me to make like a matchup chart. And it was toward the end of my stream. I had been streaming for about 6 or 7 hours. And I was like, I'll just make a short edition of it. I made this and I posted it to Twitter, and I honestly expected to get blown back because, there's a lot of controversial opinions and matchup charts, even though they are just opinions. But I was scrolling through and I actually didn't get that much discourse. So I saw a lot of people in my YouTube comments asking about a minimum matchup chart. So I figured I would just expand upon the one that I made a little bit. I'm not going to go too in depth. I don't want the video to be like an hour long. But just go through why I feel as though some of these are winning or losing or even. And yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so here it is. I decided this time that I was going to put a few of the characters that may a little more need a little more explanation in the everyone else even or better area. Just because I know a lot of people had some questions about some of these, and again, I have not personally played the best players of all of these characters. I am also not the best player myself. So just know that these are just through my experiences and through my opinion, and I could be wrong on some of these. I'm not afraid to admit that. And as the game develops, as the character develops, and as the meta develops, some of these could change. So let's go through a few of them really quickly. Pikachu, really quickly. Pikachu hits you one time and drags you really far off stage, and you pretty much have to guess. If you guess wrong, then you lose your stock, and it's really easy for Pikachu to land the hit. Pikachu pancakes a lot. If you hit Pikachu with a Ram at low percent, Pikachu will pancake, and you actually have to angle all your moves downward to hit Pikachu. All of Pikachu aerials actually trade with the arms, so if you do like a forward tilt with any of them, Pikachu does forward air, it will trade and Pikachu will continue to go through. Also, quick attack goes through arms. So if they decide that they want a quick attack, they can just kind of do it. And Pikachu also attacks from that like angle right here that Min kind of doesn't feel the greatest about with T-Jolt. And if you get stuck in shield, you get grabbed and then you get dragged off stage and 50-50 guess. Also, when you're off stage, T-Jolt can cover this, you trying to recover at that angle, and Pikachu can cover the high. So really a nightmare. Not really much you can do. There are some things like Megawatt goes through T-Jolt, but it's pretty rough, pretty hard, very mobile, very quick, just small hurt box, extremely difficult. And that brings me to Sheik. It's pretty much the same thing. Sheik hits you one time, drags you all the way off stage, and it's a 50-50 on if you live or not. If they have full needles, it's actually impossible for you to live. They just do their combo into Bouncing Fish. They jump high. If you jump, they back air you. If you don't jump, they just run around needles and you die. That's the matchup. You could avoid that at low percents and maybe you can play it out a little bit longer, but again, Sheik's really mobile. Needles are transcendent, so if you throw an arm and she throws needles, it'll just cancel out the arm attack. And Sheik's short hop is really good for getting in at a really uncomfortable angle. A lot of people are asking me about Diddy Kong. There's a few quick things about it, and you'll start to notice a pattern. Diddy Kong has great mobility. Diddy Kong can also interrupt arm throws by throwing a banana, and you lose that situation because you'll trip and Diddy Kong will get a pretty good confirm. Because of that, you can't really hit Diddy's shield from like a distance because short hop banana is a thing out of shield. Monkey flip kick goes through the arms, so if you throw both arms, it does not matter. You kick through them, and the biggest issue in the matchup is getting off the ledge. Diddy Kong is one of the best ledge trappers in the game, and it's just an absolute nightmare trying to get off the stage, as Min is one of the worst characters on the ledge in the game. So that combination just is not good. There are a few redeeming qualities in the matchup. You can hold the banana forever for some reason. Don't know why they put that in the game, where she can still use both of her A and B moves if she attacks with the B move first. But yeah, that matchup can be pretty rough. If there's some more developments in the future though, maybe that'll change, and maybe I'm not the best at it. Again, my matchup experience for these are Esam, Void, and Tweak, but those are also very high level players some of the best players in the world, and uh, sometimes it's hard to judge if it's a character difference or player difference. So just putting that out there. Now, for the maybe lose, maybe even, maybe winning, I don't know section, it's because I literally do not know. These characters are pretty rare to play. I don't know why. Some of them are really good. Outside of R.O.B, some of them are really good. Like Zeus is really good. Greninja is really good. So it's strange that they aren't as common. So it's hard to find like really good practice against the characters. So I literally don't know. I just heard that they can be even or bad. So let's start with R.O.B. Personally, I've played against R.O.B a lot. I've played against Waddy, I've played against MJ, played against R.O.B on Wi-Fi. And it's weird. It feels like Min Min controls like the match the majority of the time. And then you get hit one time, and suddenly the same thing happens with Sheik and Pikachu, where you just get dragged really far off stage and you can't recover. But if you can make it to like 50 or 60% without that happening, normally you'll just take the stock first, and you can probably take two. It's just like really strange. But just the possibility of like that happening, like 3 stocks in a row, like you're at 0, you get hit, go really far off stage, you die, you come back, you're at 0, and it happens again. Makes me wonder if it is a losing matchup. A lot of people seem to think that it is. I'm just not thoroughly convinced yet, because when I play it, it doesn't feel losing. It feels like I'm making mistakes. So again, hard to separate player from character. But if it is losing, I mean, it's all good. It feels doable though. Like these 3 don't really feel doable, but R.O.B feels doable. Greninja. Oh, one more thing about R.O.B. I'm sorry. Same thing with Diddy Kong. You cannot get off the ledge. If you touch the ledge, you might as well just let go of the ledge and go to your next stock, because you're probably not. Once it puts the gyro down, it is a wrap. You're stuck. Alright, so Greninja. I haven't played against like a Stroder or a JW, you know, so I don't really know. It seems in theory to be really bad. Just because burst options on the ground seem pretty rough to deal with, but not really that fast in the air. And normally there's like some combination, like Pikachu's pretty quick in the air, Sheik's pretty quick in the air, and they have like fast frame data. Like their moves come out really quickly, and they can kind of overwhelm you and cross up your shield. But it doesn't really feel like Greninja can do that just because of Greninja's aerial speed. This is just me speaking out loud. Again, I haven't played it, so I don't really know. I've played Goofy Goober for my region. Local Greninja was pretty good, but when I play it, it doesn't feel losing. But I could see it being losing. Bayonetta, same thing. I feel like we should control the pace of the game, but both of these can kind of edge guard you, and you start to see like again another pattern. Characters that can edge guard very well tend to do very well against Min Min, as that is one of her weakest aspects. She can witch time the arms and get a punish, so that is nice. So the zoning game is a little rough. Can't really jump as much because the afterburner kick take a ton of damage. Don't want to get hit far off stage. She can stay out there forever and edge guard you. Metaknight, same thing. Who plays Metaknight? There's Bonk, Yays, and like Costa Rica. Like, I don't play against Metaknight. I have no idea. Heard it's bad. Heard this is probably the same thing. You get hit, you get carried off stage, you lose your stock because Metaknight has 8,000 jumps and you're really far off stage. I heard Zero Suit's bad. I've played against AOS. It didn't feel bad at all. But some people say it's bad. Could be even, could be losing, could be winning. Why it's in the section, I don't know. Now, everyone else even or better. Again, I haven't played the best players in the world that are like super practiced in the matchup, but I've played the matchup very extensively for most of these, and um, they just most of these are even. I'm not saying like she wins against all of these characters, but it does feel like they are even or slightly winning. So Power Mithra, they're really fast. Mithra is just really fast, but normally Mithra's like game plan is to be able to like either overwhelm you, just like get in, overwhelm you with like fast burst options from the ground, or they just kind of stay at a range where they can whiff punish you over and over again. And once they hit you, then they keep you on the ledge forever, or they juggle you forever, or however that goes. But Mimin's range covers the burst range of Mithra. Like, let's say Mithra's burst range is here, Mimin's range is like here. So she can't really like burst at you. She kind of has to guess. And that guessing game makes it so she can't really play her game. We can't really play our game either, of just like, oh, we're just gonna like react and see what they decide to do once they get at a certain range. We actually do have to like be proactive, because she's one of the characters that if you do throw both arms, she can just dash attack punish you or however, and that can be pretty rough. She's not, again, the fastest in the air. She's pretty fast in the air, but she gets edge guarded really easily, two framed really easily, and if you two frame her, she just loses her stock. So feels even, not completely fleshed out yet, so it could change for better or for worse in the future. Wario has a really hard time getting in, like an extremely hard time getting in. He takes a ton of damage trying to get in. But the moment Wario hits you, does 8 million damage. It can be kind of hard to get off the ledge. Not super hard, but kind of hard to get off the ledge. Because of your weight and your hurt box being a little large, Wario gets really good confirms on you. You take a lot of damage every time you get hit. So, but like it being so hard for him to get in, it really balances out. And there can be times where he just loses a stock without hitting you, but can also take your stock without you hitting him. So that's Wario. Wolf. Wolf can get edge guarded, not super easily, but he's like maybe around as easy as like Roy or something like that. Has a really hard time like getting started, but once he does get started, it can be a little rough. His airspeed is really good for you, and short hop height is perfect along with that forward air, just setting everything up. His nair does go through arms, so if he does like a short hop nair and you decide to do the arms, it'll just go through and hit you. But he's not the fastest on the ground, so you just have to be able to deal with his aerial approaches. And if you're good at anti-airing and playing a little defensively, keeping stage control with like dash attack down tilt rolls, and being able to stay in the middle of the stage, you should be okay. Just can't get scared and play in shield too much. Laser's like kind of a factor. If he shoots and you throw an arm at the same time, depending on which arm it is, it will either trade or the laser will hit you first, and boom, he just took 10 damage and he took 0 or 10. Can just stand there and reflect it, but once you start standing still, Wolf can move forward. So just be aware of that and you should be okay. Sonic. Played this with Craftus for a really long time. Craftus is from England, one of the better Sonics. And at first, I felt like Sonic won, but we only played on Wi-Fi, so I was having a hard time gauging. But as we played more, I realized Sonic kind of has a hard time getting off the ledge. It could have just been that specific player, because that's really the only time I grinded the matchup. We played for like 4 hours straight. But Sonic has a pretty hard time getting off the ledge. And Min Min is one of the best ledge trappers in the game, in my opinion, so she does pretty well against Sonic. Also, he can't just like belligerently spin dash at you from the entire stage, because you also cover the entire stage, and his burst speed is a non-factor because of your range. Still, he can edge guard you pretty well, and if you do swing too early, then his burst speed will help him get in and get started. So that's Sonic. Palu. A lot of people are like, wait, Palu, how do you go? Oh, by the way, all of these that I've said so far, I feel like are even. I don't think we beat any of them. We may beat Pyramithra, maybe, but I'm not sure. We may beat Wario, maybe. I'm not sure. It just feels even. Wolf feels even. And Sonic felt even. Palu. Palu can actually close the gap. I mean, that's most of Min's matchups. Most of these you just have to play a little differently. Like, you can't like just throw out arms against Wolf. You have to stuff out Wario's jumps because it's going to be in the air most of the time. In Pyramid 3, you just have to play like toward the ledge. Same with Sonic. Palu. Can't really close the gap. Her projectiles don't help too much. Explosive Flame's okay. But the auto reticle, you can actually just throw like a Megawatt or a Dragon straight through it. So if you see it, you can just do it on reaction and hit her. So that means she has to approach on the ground. Her grounded moves aren't good for approaching, which means she has to jump. Her airspeed isn't the greatest, even though her aerials are really good. She also doesn't get the most per interaction, so sometimes it can be kind of hard for her to keep up damage-wise. And these are very general tips. I'm not going to get super specific, by the way. And that's just kind of how the matchup plays out. They can recover like kind of horizontally to stage to avoid getting 2-framed easily, but if they ever go low, it is literally free. It's very, very easy. And that is Palu. A lot of people are confused on how in the world I could think that Joker is even or better. I actually think, as of now, I think we beat Joker. Neutral seems like a disaster. It's really, really, really easy to 2-frame Arsene, and you can do it with Dragon. Once you can 2-frame a character with Dragon, I feel like it starts getting rough because they can just die at like 60%. That's not something you want to have to worry about when you're playing. By the way, Min can do 1 or 2 combos, put you at 60% with Arsene while you're off stage. So you have to be aware of that. Normally, Joker can get around like most of his matchups by like using like his neutral B, the gun, or using side B, AHA. So, but Min's range is just a little too far for that, so it can be a little rough. And his mobility kind of gets cut off by her having so much range. But if he does hit you, he can do pretty well. Edge guarding wise, he's decent at it. He's not like these characters up here, but he's pretty good just by using down guns and like back air. You just have to save your jump. If he ever hits you out of your jump, you should be gone. Yeah, that's Joker. Roy can ledge trap you forever, can juggle you forever. He's pretty fast, he can get in. It can be rough, but if he doesn't get in, it is brutal. You can actually dash attack his short hops, and dash attack is brutal because it leads to a tech chase scenario at lower percents, and if it's at the edge of the stage, then it's a 50-50 on if he dies or not. You just kind of go low and try to ram, and if like you don't think he's going to double jump, but if he does double jump and you hit him out of it, then he literally just dies on the spot. It's really easy to 2-frame him with ram or Dragon. I prefer using Dragon. I actually think it's a lot easier, and you can get some early stocks from that. But if you ever get put on the ledge or in a juggle situation, it can be a little rough. Also, he's really good at smothering you. So once he's on you, he's on you. It's kind of have to figure it out. That becomes a player versus player thing, more player versus character thing at that point. Because you do have a few options. Inkling, people also wonder why Inkling, because, you know, Inkling's really mobile, but Inkling has a really hard time killing you. It's actually pretty hard for Inkling to edgeguard you. She also gets 2-framed really easily. Her recovery does not have a hitbox except for on the bottom when you first do it. And that's not good because normally she's like, oh, I'm just going to recover with up B. So rough that she can get 2-framed. One of the biggest things that she has going for her is when most characters are ledge trapping Inkling, they can do like jump from the ledge neutral B and it's safe on shield, but Min ledge traps from so far away that she actually kind of struggles to get off the ledge. If she can ledge trap you or manage to get an edge guard and kill you, it can be a little rough, but for the most part, she's probably not killing you before like 100 if you just avoid grab and roller. So you take a lot of damage in like small bursts, but you also deal it back, and you have ways to kill her a lot easier. So taking the stocks is really important. Like that's how you win the game, taking the stocks. And I feel like Min Min has a slightly easier time. Fox is really fast on the ground, but not in the air. And Min Min controls the ground really well, and I'm sure you've heard me say this before, so he has to jump. His aerial speed isn't the greatest. He is a fast faller. He gets hit by the craziest combos. I forgot to mention that for Wolf and Roy, but he gets hit by really damaging confirms off of like falling Dragon Air, falling Megawatt Nair, off of down tilt. And he's one of the easiest characters in the game to edge guard. If he has to side B, it's extra free. If he up B's below the stage, you can just charge Dragon, kill him at 40 because he's also one of the lightest characters in the game. So, but he does have a lot going for him. If he does hit you, you take 80. Sledge trapping against you is pretty good. You have to make some good guesses, but you can compensate for the damage by taking a stock at 50, putting him off stage really easily. Falco is... Oh, by the way, for these, I've played all of these pretty extensively, and I don't feel like going through all the names of players that I've played. But again, I haven't played like Leo for Joker, and I haven't played Cola or Goblin. Actually, I did play Goblin, but it was on Wi-Fi for Roy, so it's a lot harder for Roy on Wi-Fi than it would be for me. And of course, I play ZD every week. Inkling, actually, I haven't played that extensively. So again, these are subject to change. All of these are that are on this entire list. Falco, haven't played Tilde. I played Coffee on Wi-Fi, KOFI. But it was Wi-Fi. Kind of just like hit each other, and whoever hit each other first took the stock. A lot of 0 to deaths. That was a little too slow, in my opinion, to make things happen consistently. So I do think we win against Falco. Again, most of these I think and everything I said except for Joker and Falco feel even, but these two feel winning to me. But again, I haven't played the best of the best. Just a little too slow both in the air and on the ground. It's really hard for me to get in. It's really easy for me to get edge guarded, really easy for me to get two framed. It can be pretty brutal. Now here we get to some weird characters that weren't really talked about, but they actually do pretty well against Min Min. Some people even say some of these will be winning, but I'm again not experienced enough in these, but I have played them some. Pit hits you once and hopes that Pit can edge guard you. That's the entire matchup. That's it. It's good at edge guarding. It has long lasting aerials that can clip you, try to tether, and they clip you, then you lose. That's the basis of it. Kirby jumps around and just does nair, and it clanks with your arms. Really strange. If Kirby hits you one time, they can combo you off the stage, and they're pretty good at edge guarding you. If they ever combo you near the edge and they can't do like a combo into down air, then you pretty much just die because they just down air. Jigglypuff just jumps around the screen and is floating, and if like Jigglypuff does nair, it like goes through the arms, kind of like with Wolf. If Jigglypuff ever manages to grab you, forward throw at 0 is literally a 50-50 on if you're gonna die. It just sends you way too far off stage. Way too. And at higher percents, it's the same thing. So you can't get grabbed near the ledge. Honestly, it feels like you can't get grabbed center stage. Nair to grab is a confirm. Nair goes through the arms, so you have to be kind of careful, because if they do nair forward throw, you just might die. Link's nair goes through arms, goes through everything. It feels crazy. That move is insane. It's actually pretty good at edge guarding you because of the remote bomb. It just covers such a large area that if they do happen to get you off stage and they shoot the arrow to make you air dodge, or throw the boomerang to make you air dodge, and then they throw the bomb, then you might die. Also, you get ledge trap pretty hard because of the same bomb. So yeah, But the way you compensate for all these, Pit's a little slow, so you just do a bunch of damage. Kirby, you can't swing as much, and it's outside of like the Nair trades and stuff. It's actually pretty hard for Kirby to get in to do a bunch of damage. Jigglypuff, you actually have to just use air and anti-airs a lot. So a lot of up tilt, a lot of up smash, a lot of Nair. And Link gets edge guarded and 2-framed pretty badly. Minmin's one of the few characters that can deal with Link doing like a bomb recovery from the bottom of the stage, because you just like throw an arm really far off stage and it'll normally intercept. Yep. I think that's all of them. If you have any more questions about any other matchups, some people would like to ask about Pichu. Pichu's a little too light, so a few interactions, and if you camp hard enough, then after they do enough T-Jolts and a few interactions with like Megawatt, they kind of just die. And their quick attack doesn't have a hitbox on it, so it's easy for Pichu to get in as Pikachu. Sorry, it's like 7:30 in the morning and I haven't slept yet. If you have any questions about any other matchups, I'll try to explain them to the best of my ability. Again, I haven't played like everyone, all the best players in the world at the highest level and grinded the matchup every day for hours on end, but I've played a lot of them very extensively, and I know a good amount about the character, and I watch a ton. I'm always watching Proto and Buzz and all other Min mains. So Min's on the screen. I'm probably in the stream chat just lurking, or in the YouTube VODs just studying. So thanks for watching. Again, if you have questions, let me know. I will try my best to answer them in the comments, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.